The sky had just brightened, the golden sunlight shone through the gaps between the leaves, shimmering like silver threads on the forest canopy. The chirping of birds echoed everywhere, creating a peaceful and fresh natural harmony. The cool air filled the suburban forest, where Chow's tree sawing team was preparing for a busy but joyful day of work. Chow, the calm and always smiling team leader, stood in front of the truck full of tools. His orange protective suit shone in the sunlight. "Is everyone ready? Let's work quickly today so we can go home early," he said with enthusiasm. Chow's team consisted of 6 people, each with a different personality, but sharing a passion for taking care of and protecting trees. There was T, a small man but extremely agile in climbing, Long, who always told funny stories that made the whole team laugh, and Hung, the skilled driver of the truck transporting wood. Everyone was busy getting ready, checking the chainsaws, ropes, hard hats, and even water bottles to keep cool in the scorching sun. In the forest today, the team was assigned to cut down a large, dead old tree that stood near the stream bank, breaking the small branches around it and potentially falling on people's houses if there was a storm. This tree was not only tall but also had a wide canopy and roots that penetrated deep into the ground. Chow divided the work clearly. Long and T would climb up and trim the large branches, Hung would control the rope to keep the tree stable, while the rest of the team prepared the saw and the blade to grind the stump. The rumbling sound of the chainsaw broke the silence of the forest. T stood precariously on a branch, pruning and humming a folk song. "Remember to stay safe, T," Chow called out. T just smiled, "Don't worry, boss. Wait a moment, I'll come down and tell you the story of the mouse that jumped into the truck yesterday, it's so funny." The rumbling sound of the chainsaw broke the silence of the forest. T stood precariously on a branch, pruning and humming a folk song. "Remember to stay safe, T," Chow called out. T just smiled, "Don't worry, boss. Wait a moment, I'll come down and tell you the story of the mouse that jumped into the truck yesterday. It's so funny. After the lunch break, the team quickly returned to work. Chow stood in the middle, quickly drawing a diagram on the ground with a dry branch. The next tree is near the edge of the forest, its roots spread into the path. To make it easier to transport, we will cut it into small pieces. Long and T will still work on the top, Hung will use the truck to pull the logs out. Man and I will take care of digging and grinding the tree stump. Man, the oldest member of the team, is an expert in handling tree stumps. With more than 15 years of experience, he is meticulous and patient with each stroke. This stump looks easy, but watch out for the clustered roots. The other day I encountered a stump that was as deep as a nail in the ground. It took half a day to finish, he said as he put his hard hat back on. T and Long continued their task of pruning the branches. The two worked well together, but did not forget to tease each other. Long, who was famous for his sense of humor, turned to challenge, "Hey T, do you dare to compete to climb to the top? Whoever loses will have to treat you to sweet soup tonight. Let's compete, but the sweet soup must have flan." T laughed loudly, took a deep breath and clung to the tree trunk, climbing as nimbly as a squirrel. The whole team below burst into laughter, cheering, "Tit! But remember to finish before we can calculate the winner or loser." Long pretended to lose, letting T reach the top of the tree first. But as soon as T had stabilized, Long shouted loudly, "The bird is behind," which startled T. "If you fall, the sweet soup will not be enough to pay for it in your lifetime." Long burst out laughing. Below, Hung drove a truck carrying large logs out. The work of transporting logs was hard, but Hung did not forget to spice things up with jokes. Below, Hung drove a truck carrying large logs out. The work of transporting logs was hard, but Hung did not forget to spice things up with jokes. The logs are this heavy, but the truck is as sturdy as a brick. I should be doing an advertisement for a truck company. One time, when a large log slipped off the rope, Hung did not panic. He calmly stepped down, looked around and said, "Who left the rope like this? They must have forgotten to drink coffee this morning." Hung's calmness made the whole team feel secure every time they worked in difficult terrain. I used to be the T of the team, very good at climbing. But one time I climbed too hard, broke a branch, and had to jump down like Tarzan. Luckily the ground was soft, otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here now. Chow laughed, his hand still steadily using the hoe to dig the soil around the stump. But if it weren't for you, our team would be missing a second leader. Every time we had a difficult stump, you always had your own way of handling it. They both laughed, the sound of the hoe hitting the tree roots resounding in the quiet forest. Once the second tree was completed, the team moved on to the final task, moving a small tree to replant in another location as requested by the villagers. This was not too difficult, but required careful attention to avoid damaging the tree's roots. This tree is like a guy with deep roots who refuses to move, Long joked, making everyone laugh. T immediately responded, "Then we have to give this guy some coffee money to make him move." Every time they worked together, the team's humor and coordination always filled the atmosphere with laughter. Chow, as the team leader, always let everyone be free and comfortable, as long as the job was done well. T, the youngest member of the team, is an unparalleled tree climber. With his small stature, he easily weaves through the dense canopy without dropping a single leaf. Chow, let me climb a big tree today. I just practiced a new skill, I guarantee I won't disappoint everyone. T said, his eyes shining. You're already good at climbing, but don't let your new skills cause trouble, Chow replied, half jokingly. The whole team burst into laughter. T is a jokester, but he is extremely serious when it comes to work. The day before, he made everyone laugh when he told a story about a monkey stealing his helmet right from his head. He put on my helmet and jumped from tree to tree, like a forest boss. T said, drawing the scene, making the whole team laugh out loud. Long is the second oldest person in the team, famous for his eloquence and ability to make people laugh in any situation. With a strong body and a loud voice, he is always a source of encouragement for the whole team. When the team started working, Long held a rope to pull the tree branch, joking as he worked. Chow, I think we should make a video and post it on YouTube, named Super Tree Sawing Team. It will definitely get millions of views. But remember to add the words, "Don't do it at home, otherwise people will learn to climb trees like T and die." Chow replied, making everyone laugh out loud. On the other side, Hung, the truck driver, was preparing the rope to move the logs. With his strong hands and dexterity, he always ensured the safety of the whole team in dangerous situations. Mr. Hung, after you finish transporting the logs today, don't forget to treat us to coffee. Yesterday you said you forgot your wallet and haven't returned it yet. Long teased. Don't worry, I'll treat the whole team, but we have to transport all the logs today first. Hung laughed loudly, his voice hearty. He was a man of few words but always acted more. When trouble arose, Hung was always the first one to roll up his sleeves and deal with it. Mr. Man, the oldest member of the team, was slow but extremely precise in each hoe stroke. As the team dug up a dry tree stump, he told a story from the past. In the past, it took me 2 days to dig a tree stump. Back then, there were no machines, we had to hoe by hand, and we were afraid of snakes while working. In the past, it took me 2 days to dig a tree stump. Back then, there were no machines, we had to hoe by hand, and we were afraid of snakes while working. As the sun rose, the team took a nap under a cool tree. T played a word-guessing game, while Long told some funny stories. He's probably wearing a hat and pretending to be the team leader, Hung replied immediately, making the whole team laugh. By late afternoon, the work was finally completed. The logs had been transported out of the forest, the tree stumps were dug up thoroughly. The whole team returned with joy after a productive day of work. By late afternoon, the work was finally completed. The logs had been transported out of the forest, the tree stumps were dug up thoroughly. The whole team returned with joy after a productive day of work. We'll do it lightly, but remember to sleep early so you don't get chased by monkeys in your dreams. Chow replied, smiling warmly. The sunset dyed the entire way back golden, amidst the cheerful laughter of the tree sawing team. They were not only skilled workers but also close friends, sharing joys and difficulties on the journey to preserve the beauty of nature.